One of the things that overwhelms us is the sheer quantity of projects that we can do for the ummah, and we don't know where to begin. There's so much going on at the global level, national level, at our own community level. So some comments, some thoughts for your own reflection. One of the things that I like to do, I like to categorize the areas that I can contribute to 5. And I ask myself, what am I doing in each one of these 5 areas? The first of these is at the global level. The first of these, the ummah as a whole. What is happening to people far and away, but they're still a part of our ummah. The second of these, at our nation-state level. In the end of the day, we're all living in one land. In our case, it's America. Okay, we have responsibilities and huquq to this area, to this region as well. The third level is my community, my masjid, my people that I'm interacting with on a daily basis. The fourth level is my immediate circle, family and friends, especially family. And the fifth level, individually, my own life. So these are the 5 primary areas where you contribute, not just to Islam, but to anything, humanity, anything. So think about what are you doing in each one of these 5 categories. And make it your goal that at least something should be done to help and to benefit and to try to effect a change at each of these levels. Of course, the global one is the most difficult, because what can you and I do for the Uyghurs, for the Palestine, for the Kashmir? What can we do? And we feel usually the most helpless. And that is the one that is always in the news all the time, right? The domestic one as well is very daunting. So much going on in this country, right? Islamophobia is happening, issues of violence, issues of, godlessness, whatnot. And then community, of course, gets easier because we are interacting, whatnot. Family and friends is, of course, always very easy access. And then myself is always the most. Now, the irony here is that generally speaking, when we start thinking about change, we think in this exact area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can I change the ummah? How can I change benefit? But the irony, in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jal, the list is actually reversed. This list that I gave you, you need to flip the script around. In the eyes of Allah, the priorities is the exact opposite. We get bogged down and we get depressed actually, and we feel a sense of exasperation, frustration. Look at the state of the ummah, what can I do? But we forget that on the Day of Judgment, it's the exact opposite. The questions will come. You are responsible primarily for yourself. That's number 1. And then right after that, your family and friends, right? And then after that, your immediate community. And then whatever little you can do at your nation level and then at the global level. And here's the interesting point. If every one of us actually did flip the script, if every one of us actually did begin with ourselves, and then our immediate families and friends, right? And then our community. Well then, what is a nation built of except building blocks of communities? And what is a community built of except individual families? And what is a family built of except individuals? And what is the ummah built of except every one of us? Still, this doesn't mean we don't contribute at the ummah level. We do whatever we can. The least we can do is to be aware of what's going on. The least we can do is to not turn a blind eye. When that news item comes up and it's really awkward to read it so that it should impact us. To do what? To be better at levels 2, 3, 4, especially 5. You see, level 1, we talked about the ummah. Fact of the matter is not much we can do. But we can use it to incentivize us. We can use it to make us feel, subhanAllah, look at my brothers and sisters of the Rohingya. What is going on? Wallahi dhulm. Look at the Uyghur situation. How sad is it? Look at what's happening in Kashmir. And then we realize, you know what? Allah has blessed me. I'm not being tested the way they are. I'm not living in those circumstances. Well then, how can I not show that appreciation, right? So we take those global issues, we're aware of them. Not much I can do to change. Yes, maybe, public awareness, dua, fundraisers, that's whatever little we can do. But we can use those global levels to motivate us to do what? To change at the individual and at the communal level. So now that, New Year's resolution about to come, we're not going to go down there, don't worry, okay? I'm not going to say New Year's, Shaykh Badu, don't worry, inshallah. No New Year's resolution, inshallah. But we should have this notion. How am I contributing? What am I giving back, number 1, to the ummah? Number 2, to the broader society I live in. Number 3, specifically my community. Number 4, my family, my friends. What am I doing with them? How am I impacting them? Number 5, myself. And then we begin with ourselves. And I conclude with this beautiful quote. It's a very famous quote. They say it's Mark Twain. They say, a lot of people say this. They say, when I was young, I thought I needed to change the whole world. And when I became older, I realized I only need to change myself. That's actually a very valid point. Not that we don't change the world, but where does change begin? It has to begin within us. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to effect that change in ourselves, and then our families and friends, and then our communities, and then our broader societies, and that will inshaAllah ta'ala impact the entire globe. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
فيا ذلي ويا خجلي إذا ما قال لي ربي أما استحييته تعصيني ولا تخشى من العتب وتخفي الذنب عن خلقي وتأبى في الهوى قربي فتب مما جنيت عسى تعود إلى رضا الرب